Hi everyone. So today I'm going to be doing WhisperDeeply's awkward ASMR tag. And first off, I'll just go ahead and show you my bumblebee nails because I know someone's going to ask about it. And I got the idea from Cute Polish. So, in his video, WhisperDeeply talked about some of his experiences with ASMR that were kind of funny and sort of awkward. And I've never had any that were too funny, but I can definitely relate to the way that you can feel awkward, like you're, doing something wrong or whatever, and it's not even like, you could be doing so many worse things as a kid. You could be watching porn, or you could be doing all kinds of other stuff. And it's a little humorous to think that we were so afraid to be caught trying to relax. So, I have a little list here. I just made some bullets so I don't forget which stories I want to talk about. But I'll just go ahead and start. So the first one is that I think for me the whole ASMR thing started when I was really, really young. My mom would read me stories at night, and I shared a room with my sister for a while. And my sister and I are 3 years apart. But especially after my sister was born, she would give me try to give me more personal attention, like when it was time to go to sleep. So when she would read me a story, at some point, I don't know if I asked her to or if she just started doing it on her own, but she would scratch my back while she was helping me go to sleep. So it wasn't even like a open palm back rub. It was more like very gently with the tips of her fingertips. She would, just sort of like that. And when I was little, that would just like instantly put me to sleep. So then the other thing, and she did that also until I was like, oh man, I want to say she did that till I was at least like 9 or maybe 10, because I think I've always kind of had trouble sleeping. But anyway, so then the next experience I can remember is when I would stay at my grandmother's house. She didn't have a lot of movies, and there was a time when my cousin lived with her. So he lived at like the back of the house, and he's exactly he's exactly 2 years older than me. And he was just one of those kids that was really, I love him, but he was really obnoxious and was always trying to treat me like a little boy and make me wrestle with him. Like there was a trampoline outside, and he would like practice wrestling moves, and like I got kicked in the face, all kinds of awful stuff. So when his friends would finally come over and I could get a break from him, I would go inside and watch TV with my grandma. And the majority of the time, because she was already a little older, like when I was young, let me think about this. She was like 88 or 89 when she passed away, and that wasn't super long ago, so she was already kind of older when I was young. Anyway, so she would be asleep, and I would just get control of the remote. And she didn't have, like, this was in, the early 90s, so I don't think she had charter and all that good stuff. She just had regular old basic cable, and she didn't have a lot of channels. So sometimes when I was there, especially in the afternoon, if she was sleeping, I would just kind of do my own thing, and I discovered the lovely Bob Ross, as I'm sure many of you did as well. And I knew that something about the way he spoke was really relaxing to me, and I think when I heard him was the first time I felt like there was something not normal about that, because no one else, when Bob Ross was on, felt the way that I did. Everyone else would want to change the channel, or they said he was boring or whatever, and I just couldn't get enough. So when she was asleep, I would watch that. And the other show was the Martha Stewart show, which at that time, I'm trying to think if it was, I don't know what the name of it would have been, Martha Stewart Home or whatever, I'm not sure. But that would come on probably, that was probably more like when I was in middle school. I would watch that. But then, I hope this doesn't sound weird. I hope that, or no, I'm pretty sure someone else will relate to this. So just like how my mom had scratched my back like this when I was little while speaking really quietly and telling stories and stuff, I felt whenever I would hear the, like, Bob Ross or Martha Stewart, I just felt this need to, like, scratch my back or, like, my shoulder or whatever. And that sounds really weird, but I think it's something to do with the fact that my mom, when I was really young, would scratch my back while talking really softly. So I think she conditioned me pretty much for ASMR. So anyways, I guess my awkward part would be that sometimes when I was at my grandmother's, she had one of those one of those wooden back scratchers, and if my cousin was there and he was in the back room or out with his friends or whatever, and I was watching it and I would use that back scratcher, I was so afraid that he was gonna come in and find me in there watching Bob Ross or Martha Stewart scratching my back and think I was a total freak. Granted, my cousin's kind of a freak. He's done some pretty messed up stuff, so he's not one to judge. But back in those days, I just thought that would be the worst thing ever, and they would think I was in there, like, I don't know, doing something gross, or I don't know. So, Then what happened was when I was a little older, when I would go to my aunt's house, my dad's sister, she is like super into holistic living and homeopathic everything. And so when I would go to her, actually, let me back up. So because I watched Martha Stewart so much when I was younger at my grandmother's house, that was directly related to why I love to cook so much now. So I've always really loved cooking, and then I started watching like the Food Network. I would like scour the Food Network trying to find relaxing stuff. So, and for a while, Giada De Laurentiis, she did it for me, but not anymore. I just get too annoyed watching her grin like that all the time. Anyway, so then when I would go to stay at my aunt's when I was a little older, part of her, like, I don't want to say she's a hippie because that's, I guess that's offensive to other people who do the homeopathic thing, but she has some very, very peace and love kind of ideas, if you get what I mean. So anyways, while we were there, she would introduce me to all her little remedies and powders and potions that she drinks or eats or uses in her cooking. And she really is the one that taught me to cook things. So we would make like bread with all this stuff in it, or like with barley and all these other good stuff. And then also she would set me up in her TV area with the tapes that she had recorded of Martha Stewart, because she was determined that I was going to love cooking and making crafts and doing all this stuff, so that she and I could have something in common, I suppose. And it's lucky for her, because I already liked Martha Stewart anyway. So when I was there, she would pretty much leave me alone. So I would, well, she was there, but she would leave me alone to watch Martha Stewart while she was doing other stuff. And I would just kind of, I usually end up falling asleep. So that's probably when I noticed that I didn't have to really scratch my back so much when I was watching it. I just kind of, it would just sort of tingle on its own, and I would fall asleep. So I always knew, like, pretty much as long as I can remember having memories. Well, that's not true. Well, pretty much since I was in kindergarten, I can remember having these sorts of tingles. So then, there was another show. I don't know if it, well, maybe I shouldn't say. No, I won't say. Because I don't know if that was like a local thing or whatever. But there was a show on PBS with this lady who talked really relaxing, and I would watch her all the time and just wish that my parents had like DVR or something so I could record it. Then, let's see. When I also know when I was younger, I can remember being in kindergarten and the teachers talking really quietly to teach stuff, or when we were going to take a nap. And I found that really relaxing and would go like straight to sleep. Oh, and I hope you can't hear that. The people that mow the grass at my apartment were here yesterday. They were here for like hours and somehow didn't trim back the bushes, which have gotten really crazy, and they scraped my car. So I called the landlord to tell her that like the bushes didn't get taken care of or anything. So I hear something now, but I don't know if it's the neighbors or them, but hopefully it will end. So I hope you can't hear that. Anyways, kindergarten I was talking about. Yeah, okay, so then moving away from when I was younger, so all that stuff happened up until I was like 10 or 11. Then when I was in middle school, I went to a private school from the time I was in kindergarten to middle school, and I went to like a public daycare from the time pretty much I was born until I was 4. So at the private school, there was all kinds of interesting people from like different places, and they have different backgrounds and stuff. And I had this teacher who, I won't say what her name was, but I had a couple teachers who, when they would talk about anything, like they would tell me about their when they would travel, particularly when they would talk about like stories or vacations or whatever. I don't know. This is really weird. It wasn't when they were just normally talking. It was like when they specifically tried to focus on something with a lot of detail. They would get really quiet and serious about it, and that to me was always really relaxing. And then I had not a math teacher, I think it was my science teacher, that she would talk really quiet. It was almost like she was high, to be honest, and we thought she was most of the time. But anyway, she would talk really quiet and always relaxed me. And it's no wonder I had trouble trying to do scientific formulas and things like that, because I was so relaxed by what she was saying. It was like my mind and my eyes were trying to go to sleep, but then I'm supposed to be listening or whatever. So that wasn't good. But then I started getting that feeling again, like my back, obviously, your head and your back tingles and everything. And I guess for me, I just still had this urge, like back to what my mom used to do if I was scratching at my back a little, like the tops of my shoulders or whatever, that I was gonna go to sleep, which is stupid that I would do that to myself at school in case, I really did fall asleep. But this is so weird. Okay, so I would have like a pen or a pencil, usually a pencil, and just kind of, just like you would scratch your face or something with a pencil, I would just sort of be scratching the tops of my shoulders or just right below my neck. Not in a really obvious way, but enough to where I'm sure I look like a total freak and weirdo if anyone ever realized what I was doing. So, anytime anyone noticed, I would just act like I was, scratching my neck or something, which I was, but just kind of be like, oh, my neck itches. So, oh, that's so weird. Then I had a tutor for math because I've never been very good at math, and I also had a teacher tell me once very meanly that she thought I had ADD, which I probably do. I've just never been treated for that. Anyway, that was just sort of, it's funny now, but at the time when she said that, I guess that was really messed up. She shouldn't have said that. Anyway, I had to get a math tutor, and I also had her in high school because I've just personally never had any good math teachers. That's probably why I'm not very good with math. I mean, I passed my SATs and I did well in that, and I, can pass the math test. It's just, I don't know, it's just harder for me in general to remember things than most people, I find, and memorizing things just gives me a hard time. So especially with numbers, which are not like a tactile thing, it's very abstract concept for me. So anyway, I had a tutor, and we would have to go like 30 minutes to her house like twice a week. And she by far had like the most relaxing voice of any person I've ever heard in my entire life. It was like she could just say, "Hello, how are you?" and I would be relaxed. It was ridiculous. So, as you can guess, I loved going to her house. However, it didn't really help me with my math because I spent all my time focusing on how relaxing her voice was. So she would be talking to me for like kind of a long period of time because she'd be sitting right next to me, really close to my ear like this, and she would be right in my ear and telling me about formulas and telling me about what was on a page. And then when she was finally finished talking, would ask me a question, I would be almost asleep. Like my eyes would be fluttering open and shut and like that. And it was really embarrassing. I think she realized it once or twice, but for the most part, I would not allow myself to go to sleep. So, that was just kind of funny. I'm sure she probably thought I said some pretty ridiculous things to her. She probably thought something's wrong with me. So, what else? I have one more on here. That's pretty much the most of my ASMR encounters, which are worth talking about. Everything else, like now that I'm older, I've pretty much known forever that I had something like that, and I didn't know what it was called, but where like some people thought that no one else around them has it or knows about it. Maybe they don't know that it's called ASMR. At least until when I was in high school, I was convinced that that other people must experience this, that I could not be the only person, because I just knew, like, just like when you go to the spa, and I've been to a couple spas and gotten massages and everything. When you get a massage, people pay to get massaged and listen to soft music, or, like they talk to the masseuse and they fall asleep. And I just knew that if people pay for things like that, there are certainly people that don't pay for things like that that experience it at home on their own. So, for a while, I was convinced other people experienced it. I never really asked anyone about it because I didn't want to sound weird. So then it was, I would have to check the date of my channel to really figure it out. But a couple years ago, or a few years ago, I was on YouTube like late at night, and I had always been looking for relaxing videos or videos with people cooking or making crafts, especially some craft ones. There was like ladies that would make these Christmas crafts, and I think there was one with this lady that made like old world crafts or something, and that was really relaxing. But so years and years ago, I found Lita, as many of you guys probably did, and that was really cool for me because she was like the first person who I could watch consistently, without having to keep looking around all the time for new ones. So I watched her. I watched like yoga and meditation videos that were kind of long that would help me go to sleep. I watched videos with like doctors and dermatologists, and I watched the Kezi legs. They have the videos. I think they're Australian, or maybe I think. Sorry if they're not. And they have the videos with like the aromatherapies and the blue bottles that they would keep their oils in and stuff. And oh, I just love that. And so finally, after a long time of just every night kind of looking for stuff like that and using it to go to sleep, I found, I don't know how I found it. It was probably through Lita somehow, but I found a video that was like suggested, and it had something to do with something about furries. And you know what furries are, so I won't get into that. But and so I was reading the comments, and it seemed like there had been this person in what was called the Whisper community, and he had been treated badly or been made fun of or something, and had closed his channel. And if you were around then, you probably know what I'm talking about. And so I'm very sorry to you, whoever you were that happened to you. But I found it that way because all these people that were commenting were saying something to do with the whispering community, and so I just sort of started looking into it, and then I was just amazed at what I found, because it was just kind of like knowing that, I don't know, it's like knowing that the Holy Grail exists or something your whole life, and then finding it. If you know what I mean. So I was very glad to find that there were other people and that they made these videos. There is a car alarm going off. Okay. So that is pretty much my experience. Most people are surprised to know that I've actually been making videos for a long time. because I mean I get a lot of views. I feel like I get a lot of views, but to other people I get private messages, like people telling me like you should do this or you should do that, and not like the spam ones that say, oh, increase your views, but just private messages or whatever. And really, guys, it honestly doesn't bother me. Like, it's not a popularity contest. I don't make videos to impress people or to get a ton of views. I just like that. I know that I was really glad when I found that there was other people and other voices that relax me and that still relax me, and I'm very happy when they upload videos. So I just do it for that purpose, and also they're kind of fun to make. So don't feel bad or for me or like that I don't get enough views or anything, because I'm fine with it. I've got like 540 some subscribers right now. That's crazy to me, and I always say that. It's just very bizarre that that many people watch my videos, because I don't even know that many people, and never probably will in my life. So I'm just glad that people watch, and I'm glad that someone enjoys it and can relax at the end of the day or whatever. And I'm glad you guys watched this. And if you haven't watched Whisper Deeply's video yet, you should watch it. And I tag you, if you're watching this, to make an awkward ASMR video. I know mine wasn't super awkward, but to me, like, just the whole experience of knowing that you have what is now ASMR and not telling anyone or having to feel sneaky or whatever about it, the whole experience was pretty awkward in general. So I thought that was a great idea for a tag. So check out his channel and watch his video, and I hope you guys make one yourself, and I'll talk to you later.